In this video, I'll go over the best way to easily install mods for Beat Saber, including how to get custom songs, custom sabers, avatars, and everything else you need to know about modding the game. So let's go. The first thing to note is that this tutorial is specifically for the PC versions of Beat Saber, which means that you're going to need to own a legitimate copy of the game on either Steam or on the BSManager app. Once you own the game, open up your browser and you're going to want to search up BSManager. This tool is super good, it makes modding the game incredibly easy. So you're going to want to go to either the GitHub page or you can just go to their website here and press the download button and you'll automatically get the latest version of BSManager. So just save that to your computer wherever you want to. Once it's done installing, just double click on it to open the application. You'll get this little pop-up asking you where you want to install it to, so just select wherever you want on your computer and click confirm. And once that's done, you'll be in the app and this is where you can actually begin modding the game. The first thing that I recommend everyone does is go down to the bottom left here where it says add a version. Press that little plus and you'll see it's got all the years that Beat Saber's been around at the top with all the versions that came out that year. So you can scroll through and find whichever version of the game that you want to install. BSManager is really good because they have a little recommended banner over the top of a certain version of the game. This banner is really useful because it indicates the most recent version of the game with the most mods supported. However, if you know of a specific mod or mods that you may want that aren't available in that version, feel free to pick whichever version of the game does support those mods. If you're new to modding the game, I would always recommend choosing whichever version is recommended, as it's just going to be the most up-to-date and simple experience for you. So personally, I'm going to do 1.29.1. The process from here is exactly the same between all versions. So once you know what you're going to do, click on the version of the game that you want to install and press the big download button. And from here you'll be prompted to log in. Make sure you log in using the account which you own Beat Saber on. So for me, I own it on Steam, so I'm going to log in on Steam. But if you own it on the Oculus Store on PC, make sure you log in with that. And there we go. So once you've logged in, you'll see that the little loading progress bar will show up in the bottom here. So just sit tight and wait for it to fully install the game. But really quickly, before we continue, if you enjoy making or watching VR content like me, then you have to check out Rival. It's a free app similar to YouTube or TikTok, but it's designed specifically for us VR users. Instead of simply watching 2D videos on a flat screen, you have the ability to view 3D game recordings as if you're right there inside of the game. You can even watch full 180 or 360 degree videos inside of the app. To celebrate their launch, Rival are hosting a VR gameplay contest inside of their app, where you can win up to a $300 prize. It's open to everyone, and all you have to do to enter is upload your 3D gameplay to Rival before the end of April. I already have some exclusive content on the platform, so be sure to check out Rival. You can download the app directly from the MetaQuest store, or you can use my link in the description where I'll also put their Discord server and links to everything else that you're going to need to know. So now that that's installed, you should see the version that you installed pop up on the left side here. This is where all the versions you install are. You can have as many as you want, so I could go and select another version if I wanted to. Maybe I want the recommended one and I can download that as well, and I can have different profiles for all sorts of different things. Right now though, I'm just going to stick with 1.29.1, so click on the version of the game that you want, and then jump on over to the Mods tab at the very top right. This is where you can choose to install whichever mods you want. They've got a brief description of what the mods are on the right. Some mods, as you can see, are essential, so you cannot do anything about these. They are permanent, you cannot get rid of them. Other mods like Camera 2 come pre-installed, but you can uninstall this if you wish. So go through and have a look at all the different mods that are currently available in the version that you're on. Some key mods that I use personally are Saber Factory to get the custom sabers, debris tweaks to make the debris look slightly nicer, custom avatars to get custom avatars, noodle extensions, mapping extensions, Score Saber for all those ranked maps, and Chroma. These are just some of the mods that I like to use, and you can go through and install as many mods as you want from this list. And it's incredibly easy. Once you've got all the mods you want selected, just go to the bottom right and press install or update, and there we go. As you can see, all mods have been installed. So now that we've got the mods for the game, I'm going to want to get some custom models. So that's where we go to this models tab here. And this is where you can install your custom avatars, custom sabers, platforms, or custom blocks. Personally, I want to get some custom sabers, so I'm going to select the Sabers tab on the left, and then press the big Add button in the top left. And from here you can scroll through this panel, look through all the different sabers that are available. You can search at the top here, you can organize it by the date, name, or author. There are certain sabers that I like to use, which are these ones here. I don't know how to say that, so I'm not going to try, but I'm just going to search for those. And once you've found a certain model that you like, just click the download button in the top right, and that'll get automatically installed into your game. One really important thing to remember is that certain model types need certain mods to run. For example, if you want to use custom sabers, you're going to need a custom saber mod. So as you saw before, we installed Saber Factory, which is the mod you need to run custom sabers. And it's the same for all of them. You need the custom avatars mod to run custom avatars, and you'll need the custom notes mod to install the custom notes. So that's really important to remember. And now the fun part, which I'm sure everyone's waiting for. If you want to get custom songs, once again, it's incredibly easy. Just navigate over to the Maps tab in the top, and then press the Add button, and you can select to either import or browse maps. I'm going to browse maps. And then from here, you'll see all of the newest maps will pop up immediately, or you can sort them by latest, relevance, rating, or curated. You can select different filters. If you want a certain mod to be used in the map, you can select it here. There's a lot of options, so have a play around if you're struggling to find certain maps that you like. One of the big things that just happened was Extrasensory 2, so I'm going to try find some maps from that event. So I'm just going to search up Extrasensory 2. And as you can see, all the maps from Extrasensory 2 show up here. Note that you can search by either the song name, the artist name, or the mapper's name. All three of those are ways that you can find a specific song. Once you found the song you want, just press the download button in the top right of the level, and that'll automatically get installed into your game. And once you've installed a song, it'll pop up right here in the main menu under Maps. You can go through and install as many custom maps as you want. I'm just going to install the one for now. And once you've done that, you are officially ready to play the game. So just link your headset to your PC as you normally would. If you're using a Quest headset, you can use the MetaQuest Air link, or connect your headset to your PC with a regular link cable. Once you've successfully linked to your computer, you can go to the Launch tab, make sure you've selected the version you want, and then you can press the big Launch button to launch the game. There are a couple options here that are good to know. Debug mode, you don't really need to worry about that unless you're a developer. I believe it just opens like a little console for all sorts of debugging purposes. Majority of people aren't going to need this one, but if you press the launch options here, you get all these different settings on which you can try. Generally, just keep it on Oculus mode and you'll be fine for the majority of people. But FPFC mode will basically make it so that you can launch the game without putting on your headset, and you can just fly around in the menu and in levels using W, A, S, and D on your keyboard, and using your mouse as your pointer. If you click the Skip Steam button, it essentially allows you to not launch Steam with Beat Saber, which can help with performance if you're having performance issues. And if you select Map Editor, it allows you to open the default Beat Saber Map Editor without having to go through the actual game. So I've just linked my VR headset to my computer. So now all I'm going to do is just make sure that you've got the version that you want to launch selected, and then simply click the big launch button. You'll then see Beat Saber launch inside of your headset, and if I move this out of the way, I'm inside of Beat Saber. There we go, hello. So once you've loaded up Beat Saber, you should just be in the main menu, and if you look to your left, you'll see this big mods tab. This is where you can manage and set up all of the mods that you've installed. A lot of them may not work as you want straight away, so you'll need to come to this mod tab. For example, Camera 2, you have to configure this mod. So if you press on it, you can go and look at all the different settings. Personally, I like putting the render scale up, changing my Z offset to about -40. You can go through and look through all the different settings and have a play around. If you want to get your custom sabers working, click on Saber Factory, and if you have a look in this list here, you should see the sabers you've installed. Simply click on them and you'll just see them pop up next to you here, and that's working now. If you want an avatar, click on avatars and anything you've installed should pop up on the right here. There's also a couple of different mods tabs. As you can see, there's a mods tab just here which you can manage chroma. If you go back and you click on the settings icon, there's another mod settings tab here. So if one of your mods isn't immediately showing up in the mods tab, make sure that you check those other two, just in case it has worked and it's showing up there. You can also browse for custom songs in-game by clicking on the More Songs tab. This one should just come pre-installed once you mod the game. Give it a second to load, and you should be able to click search and search for any songs and maps that you want. And then, once you're ready to play, simply jump back over to the main menu, click on Solo, you'll be greeted with your usual menus, but if you click on this little custom levels button, just to the right of the music pack button, you should see all the custom levels you've installed show up right here. As you can see, I installed U, so if I click that, press play, and there we go. You've now got custom songs inside of Beat Saber. Super quick, super easy. Now some of you may have noticed that there are some mods that just aren't available in this list. There's a lot of them, but some of them just aren't available, even if they are available for the version of the game that you've selected. There is a way to get around this though. All you need to do is find whatever mod that you want. So for example, the Extrasensory 2 event requires the Vivify mod, which isn't currently available by default inside of BSManager. That means that you're going to have to open up your browser again and find whichever mod that you're looking for. So I'm going to navigate to the Extrasensory 2 website. For some mods you might have to go to the GitHub page. In terms of Extrasensory 2, you can get all the Vivify mods from their official website at the top here. I'm going to scroll down to where it says Get Extrasensory 2 Mods, and you can see it's available for version 1.29.1, 1.34.2, and so on and so forth. So you're going to want to press download and find the version that matches the version of Beat Saber that you're trying to mod. This is really important, otherwise the mod just won't work. So for me, I'm trying to get the mod for 1.29.1, so I'm going to download version 1.29.1. Save that folder to your device. And once it's done installing, you're going to want to open your file explorer, go to your downloads folder, and generally it'll be a zip file. It might not always be a zip file, but if it is, just extract it. And it can always look different for different mods, but generally they seem to have a plugins folder. So just open that one, and eventually you want to find a DLL file for whichever mod that you're trying to install. So in this case, I want vivify.dll as well as synapse.dll. These are the two mods that you need to run the Extrasensory 2 maps and event. Now in order to install these into your game, you're going to want to go back to BSManager, make sure that you're on the right version, go to the top right where it's got this little cog, click on that and press open folder. It should then just open up your Beat Saber folder. It's super important that you've launched the game at least once through BSManager before you do this though, so make sure if you haven't already, just launch the game. Go back to your modded Beat Saber folder. I'm just going to move this one to the side. Go back to the folder with all of the mods that we just installed. Once you've got the two panels open next to each other, find your Beat Saber folder, go to plugins, and then simply copy everything from that plugins folder that you downloaded and put it into your plugins folder in BSManager. If you get a little pop-up like this, I would say just replace the files, but it doesn't really matter since they're already installed. And just like that, it is done. We now have Vivify and Synapse both installed, plus all of the other required mods that it'll need to run. You'll need to repeat this step for all of the folders that came with the mod that you're trying to install. So in this case, I'm going to need to go and copy everything from the libs folder into the libs folder inside of Beat Saber. Make sure that you do this for every single folder that came with the mod that you're trying to install. Now that that's done, we can close both of these folders, and now it should be fine for you to just launch the game as you would normally. One more thing to note is that if you've already got Beat Saber installed, you should get the base version of the game pre-installed in the top left. I highly recommend that you do not mod this version of the game. I've had a lot of strange problems in the past with modding the official version of the game, and then once it updates, it just kind of, everything just breaks, and I've encountered lots of issues with that. So I recommend avoiding modding this version. You can do it, but I don't recommend it, especially if you're just starting out modding. This is also a good way just to launch the base game if you want to play all of the official maps and DLC and the latest releases. You can just launch the newest version through here. If you have any other questions, feel free to leave a comment down below. But apart from that, thank you for watching, and enjoy your new mods.